Right, so now we're going to draw the leg muscles from the outer side. I really don't think the arm is really going to be in the way much, so I'm not really worried too much about that. First thing we're going to draw is the vastus lateralis. So remember, the vastus lateralis is the one on the outer leg here, right? This muscle on the outer leg here. The medialis is on the inside here. So we're drawing the outside leg, so we're going to draw the vastus lateralis. And we'll go ahead and get this red color here. Remember, it attaches to the tibia up here. Kind of has a ligament that comes up like that in front of the knee. Kind of goes like that, and it kind of goes in front of here. Now it gets very thick. This muscle is a pretty thick muscle from the side view. This is what makes up the bulk of your leg from the side view. So go and draw it like this here. So have a slight curve to it like that, but it kind of comes out quite a bit here. So it's shaped like this. Then we know it attaches up here to the top of the femur bone. Comes out like so. I'm going to go around the hand there. Comes down. About like that. So that's the general shape of the muscle there. And again, when you know and you memorize these shapes of the muscles, it's really going to help you when drawing from different views, like drawing from a side view. You'll be like, okay, now I know what the leg looks like from the outer side view because I know these muscles that fit in there. We're going to add a new muscle here that we're going to learn. This will be the gluteus medius. So it attaches here to the top of the femur, this outer ball part, and it kind of goes like, kind of shaped like this, and attaches to the inside of the pelvic bone here. Has a shape like that. Remember, the arm's coming in front of it, so that's why I'm drawing around the arm. But this would, this muscle goes like that. So just so you know. We'll do other poses later on where we draw, the leg is isolated and nothing is coming in front of it, no arm or nothing is coming in front of it. Right, now let's go ahead and do, for these two muscles, the general shape of the fibers. So the fibers of this muscle, again, are coming around this way, and they almost come, horizontal when they get down to the bottom there. And sometimes they are kind of horizontal, just depending on the person. All right, so I'll go ahead and draw some little ones now. Like so. This part here, this inside part, is the part that has the most like fibers. So when someone flexes really hard, they have like no fat. That's where you see most of those fibers. Just going to strengthen a few of the fibers here and there. We'll add some light ones, some highlights. Like that. Okay. And then finally we'll take this tendon color and show where the tendon's at here. Oops. Come on. Hate the driver on this thing. I'm going to go and outline the muscle just a little bit here. There we go. Now the gluteus medius, the gluteus maximus is your actual butt muscle. We'll cover that one in just a second, because that one will be visible from this side angle as well. All right, let's go ahead and outline the muscle so we get the general shape of it here. I'm going to add a little bit of the tendon here, and a little bit of the tendon here where it's connecting. Alright, again, let's go ahead and outline this muscle. A lot of that muscle is going to be covered too, so there's another muscle too underneath this one, and it's a little bit, has kind of the same shape, a little bit smaller, and that's the gluteus medius. Just so you know, there's more than one piece of muscle that's filling up that socket area, but it's not important to draw because it's not going to be visible. It's completely covered. We know we have the front muscle here, so we have the femoris still we have to draw. And remember the femoris attached to the inside here. And I'll go ahead and draw the ligament part first. We have the attaches here, kind of comes down. It's a pretty big ligament, like so. The ligament starts having its own fibers on it too, just so you know. It's going to be somewhat blocked behind that muscle there, but it comes around the front here, and depending on how big the person is, this can be bigger or smaller, but this is what gives the leg its look here. And this is important information to know from the side view. Is here's a patella, that's the little kneecap. You have a tendon that comes off of there that we learned from the front view. And that tendon was right here. See where it touches to the patella and comes up? So that's the tendon from the side view we're seeing right here. And then it turns into this muscle. So this muscle is being overlapped and goes behind over there. This muscle here comes out a little bit more. This one here. Really none of this knee should be showing once all this is on there. Again, I'm coming in front of those hands. Probably should just draw it over and make a head with it, but I have to draw the hands later. Not the hands, but I at least have to draw the forearm. And we'll go into greater details with the forearms too when we do different point of views and stuff like that. Remember, the muscles here also are horizontal. We're kind of like a V, remember? We're only viewing a side of that V there. So the muscle fibers go like that. Just kind of separate this here with some shadow. Line just a few little lines, highlight lines. Okay. So that's what gives it gives your leg most of its look here from that front view. It kind of comes out, and it might even come out a little bit further than that. Draw the fibers come out a bit further as well. I'm going to come out a little bit further with it actually, like this. Okay. Alright, the gluteus maximus I'm going to draw in a second, but first I want to draw I'm going to draw a little muscle called the biceps femoris short head, and it attaches down here to the tibia, and it comes up along this bone, and it comes up and attaches right up here to the tibia to the fibia, from the femur to the tibia, sorry. And it kind of comes up like that. And it goes behind this muscle, so I'm not going to show where it attaches, but it attaches right up in there. Like so. And then I'm just going to kind of draw some of the fibers on it. Like that. Okay, so that's the basic shape of the muscle with its tendon. And then this next part is the biceps femoris, and I want to draw it underneath here on the under muscles, just to get a good idea where it's at. We'll also draw it from the back view when we draw it, but it attaches up here to the back of the pelvic bone. It has a shape, from the side view, it has a shape like this. This is what gives you most of that shape of your back leg. It connects down here to the tip of the fibula. And it's actually slightly covered by the other muscle we just drew, this little one here. Okay. So it has a shape kind of like that. Let's go ahead and draw the ligament in here. And the ligament here. This one actually, the fibers flow in a way you would kind of predict them to flow, which is this way. Add a few little highlights in there. There we go. And let's add that back shape. There you have it. Bam. And so when this is over, you can kind of see how you're starting to get the overall shape of the muscles. And I'm going to actually add just a little bit. This should be a little bit bigger, like that. Most people are going to have a bigger muscle like that. There we go. Go ahead and add the separation between these muscles here. Go back to this layer actually and add that separation more. There you have it. Right, so next we'll do the gluteus maximus, which is what's going to give you your whole entire butt shape. So the gluteus maximus is also called the glutes or the butt, and we're not going to see all the connection points. We'll be able to see the side connection points though, so we'll start to get an idea of how this muscle looks. So right about where that tendon is of this muscle here, it kind of starts coming up, and it comes up to about here. It goes along the back there, and we'll see from the back view when we draw, it connects to that whole inside part of the pelvic bone. It comes down quite far, like this, overlaps that muscle a little bit. It goes underneath this muscle here. Okay. This is the shape that we're actually going to see. Now, of course, some people have bigger butts than others, and they'll have some fatty tissue on here that'll give them a bigger butt. All right, and so it connects here to this part of the femur bone. So it connects right here to this part of the femur bone. So it tucks under and connects right here to the femur bone, and it tucks under the vastus lateralis. So just so you know, the connection point of that muscle. So when you're drawing it, you'll understand how it's drawn. We'll look at it more from the back view too. And in fact, I'm going to go ahead and back up here because I want to, from the side view, I still want to be able to have this visible. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw this. Okay, so sorry, there we go. Well, for a second, I'm going to have that on for just for a second. We'll turn off after I draw this part here. So again, we'll have, and it goes, see, it goes over that muscle, but under that muscle. Let me see, where did I drew that muscle way up here, didn't I? Well, that's a bummer. So, I'm trying to think how I'm going to do this. Okay, I'm going to grab this muscle here. I'll have to redraw it. Kind of copy it like this. Edit, copy, edit, cut, and then I'll put it as an under muscle. Edit, paste, special, which is paste in place. That way it placed right where it was before. So now I can draw on top of that muscle. Okay, and it's going to connect again, like somewhere in this area here, about like that. It's going to come around. It's going to come down that way. And it's going to come this way like this. Okay, so that's the general shape. Might have to erase some of that. Kind of show it's the arm there. me go ahead and kind of erase some of that then, show more of the arm. There we go. Right, so now I'll show you the connection point. And again, when we draw it from the back view, you'll learn more of the connection point of this muscle, which will help have a better three-dimensional understanding of it. So now I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that and show you how it comes down here and connects. Right, so it just comes down a little bit below that muscle there, the gluteus medius, I think it was, or whatever, and then comes up like that. So that's the shape, that's where it attaches to the femur. We'll go ahead and add the ligament there where it's attaching. And knowing where it attaches is an important thing, because again, when you know where muscles attach, it's easy to draw the muscles from any angle. Okay, this is the direction of the fibers. Again, something you definitely want to memorize too is the direction of the fibers is an important thing to memorize. Alright, we'll draw a few highlight ones in here. And voila. Now we have the gluteus maximus. Let's go ahead and make all these muscles visible again, see how they cover over there. And so that's going to give you the leg from the side view. And we're not bothering, you know what, I think I accidentally attached, let me see something here for a second. Well, I can't believe I did that. No wonder I was looking weird and I was like, what's wrong with this muscle? Okay, so let's go back in and erase this part of this muscle here, this top muscle. You know, I thought I had it drawn right the first time. Okay, so I did draw that muscle right, and this one here actually is going to come down and attach it to the tip of this patella, not the outer leg patella. So you see what I did there is I actually looked at the wrong kneecap there for the other leg. Alright, so these muscles are still going to come like that. Okay, so there we go. This is a slight change. I'm not drawing that other outer leg over there, that other patella, so we're just focused on this leg here. Right, and when you add fatty tissues or everything, you'll see how this will come down here, and then the leg has this kind of dip like this, and that's going to be, you know, maybe it has a butt, and that's how you have the basic shape of the leg there. Then you come up with the little bit of fatty tissue in between there, and you got the outline of the body. We'll get into that when we add the skin, though. Alright, so that's how the leg muscles look from the outer edge. So when you're drawing a leg muscle then, let's just go ahead and let's say you have the butt here, and you're drawing this this leg muscle here. You're drawing the leg from the side view. Just remember, you have this main muscle here you can see. Well, actually, there's one more muscle we got to draw. So before we get into that, there's one more muscle we need to draw, and so it's a major outer muscle. Right, and this is the right fasciculate, and this attaches like so. First, it attaches up here, and it goes in front of the inner butt muscle there. It has two nodes up here where it attaches, one there, one there. Kind of comes down, has a V cut between these, so it kind of splits off there. One's coming down this way, like so. And then it kind of has there might be a little bit more of that showing actually than this inner butt muscle showing than what I'm doing here, but it's all right. Different muscles or different people have different muscle shapes. A little bit, you know, there's a little variation. Comes down to more of a V point here, and I don't want to cover any of the hand, so more of a V point here like this, and it's going to come right across pretty much the center of that lateral muscle there, and it's attached down here to the tibia, right about here. This has a really long tendon, so most of this muscle is actually tendon. All the way up like this. And it's only when it gets way up here that it starts to kind of flat out. Right, the fibers of this muscle are kind of like this, and then you might have a little couple curves this way for that half. All right, so that's the basic shape of that muscle there. Right, so now back to what I was saying. When you draw the muscles, you have your butt here like this. You kind of, I don't know, it depends on how far out you want it to go. Remember, the muscle kind of goes like that, and it kind of comes out like this because you have that skeletal structure there. The back part comes off here, comes down, and so forth. Remember this top part, when this top muscle here comes and attaches to the top of the patella of the kneecap, and you have that kind of bend in the knee like that. You have part of the kneecap here. You have the one bone here. Then you have the tibia coming out, and the tibia kind of has that bend in it, which gives you that notch right there. Right. What's important then when you're drawing these muscles with the skin on it and everything is that you're going to have, if they're flexing a little bit, you might have a little tension line there, and then this other line over here, you might have a little bit of tension line here. And then it's going to kind of roll around and follow part of this, either part of that muscle or part of this inside part. And so it's going to kind of fold around like that. You're going to kind of have, it's going to be kind of like that from the outside. And then you'll be able to see, part of there's like another part of the bone here that sticks out on the side view. You're going to have part of there's going to be a ligament between here, but still you're going to be able to kind of see that part sticking out. Right, and then you'll have the muscles and the muscles. And we'll get into that, but that's the part, those two lines mainly. You're never really going to really see these lines in here. Sometimes you might be able to see a little bit of that line, like two lines like that, but they have to be really buff for that. But typically, even superheroes, from the side view, you just draw those two lines and that's it. Sometimes this muscle here, it might be really buff, but then you have the part where it cuts like that, and the part where it cuts down there, and that's pretty much all you're going to draw from a side view, from the outer side view. All right, so we're starting to get a better understanding of the muscles that are important in the leg that we can actually see, and you might even want to sometimes draw the rectus femoris here even bigger than what I have it, so you can draw this muscle out bigger, and then this muscle can have a slightly different shape to it where it kind of comes more like this. So let's see here. I'm going to kind of change the shape a little bit here. So it kind of comes like that, and then we'll have it come out a little bit more like that. There we go. So this is more slightly of a buff person, and I've been trying to make him not like superhero buff, but still, more of a buffer guy, not so skinny. And all you have to do is slim down all the muscles if you want to make more of a skinnier person. All right, so in the back of the leg is where we get a little bit more defined with the inner muscles that we didn't do before. And there's still some inner muscles that aren't important. For example, there's all these little muscles that go across here, and these muscles are important because they're being covered completely by your gluteus maximus. But there's a couple muscles back here that part of them can be viewed from the back view. So one connects right here, and it connects here to the femur, about down to here, and it kind of has a shape like this. Kind of goes in and then out like that. So that's the basic shape of it. Right, this is the abductor magnus, and it mainly helps in pulling the leg in. Go ahead and just give it a quick color here. Sorry about that, kind of pause it there. I forgot to unpause it, but you get the idea. It just, repeats itself on the other side. And then connects along here. Right, the lines for this muscle are rather easy. The fibers, that is, it kind of flows like this. Draw a couple main ones, and we'll draw a few little ones kind of around here. Alright, so from now on I'm going to try not to spend so much time doing this part here on camera. I'll just show you this one really quick. We'll add a couple light lines. And the rest of it I'll render out. Just know the lines. Well, let's just do the major lines on the side too, because you want to memorize them both ways. This will help you memorize them both ways. Alright, so draw those few main lines like that. Go ahead and draw this from reference a few times and from memory. Most of this muscle will be covered up, so it's really not that important. Right, so the muscles look pretty much like that. Okay, I'm pretty sure we covered this muscle from the front view. Let me see. It's just inside front view. I'm pretty sure we covered at least part of it. But anyway, it's a pretty important muscle to know. Not really so much the back part of it, but the side part of it here is important to know. And this is the symmembranosus. Symmembranosus, something like that. Anyway, it's hard to say. Anyway, it connects this to the tibia here, and it comes out around here. And so this is the important part when you're drawing this inside of the muscle here. When you're drawing the inside of this muscle is important to know. It comes in way over here to the femur bone, it connects up here to the hip, comes down about like so. Right, so it connects to that pelvic bone up there, and then comes down here and connects to the tibia. The important part to remember is that it wraps around the bone right here, and that's what gives you that. There's actually one more other muscle we already learned too from the front view that comes down here. It connects more to the front of the pelvic, more of a front bone, or muscle, but you can kind of see it from the side a little bit. And it comes down like this. This is the gracilis or something like that. Anyway, it comes down here. I've said the name before. I think it's the gracilis is how it's said. Sorry, it's the gracilis or something like that. And it's pretty much it pretty much goes right behind this, and it connects to almost the same part of the tibia, but more of the front tibia, and it's being covered by this muscle here. Right. So you can see what happens then is between these muscles right here. Let's go ahead and add a little couple highlights. This gives you the main shape right here as it comes around here. When you draw the leg from the outside or from the inner view, from the outside or inside, you kind of get that shape right there. It's this muscle that gives you that shape on the inside of the leg. As you can see, even right from the inside of the leg, you have the gracilis, which is right there, and then you have part of this muscle here, which kind of also helps lend to that shape. But then you see these two tendons that are coming right on the side there of that muscle. And that's where you have it. So you have your abductor lateralis vestis lateralis and vestis medialis. So this is medialis, so it goes right along the edge of that medialis there. And so from the back view, you kind of get a better view of that. And remember that muscle that went across here. This is the sartorius, right? And that usually sticks out a little bit further than your vestis medialis, which is this muscle here. And that kind of sticks out a little bit along the edge here. And I probably should go ahead and show that it is coming along the edge like that. Because I don't know if that was visible before, but now it is. Like that. And you can actually see that from the back view just a little bit. But you can't see this muscle from the back view. You can see this one though. Alright, so you're going to be able to see the sartorius a little bit right here from the back view. Right, and all the fibers of this muscle go as you would probably anticipate. And the standard long way of the muscle. Right, and then a little bit of that tendon like that. Okay, so you can see this builds out the inside shape of the leg there from the backside. Right, so I merged all that down to the under muscle there, to the under muscle layer. That's what we're working on. There's another muscle here that's kind of important, and we've learned it. We actually did it before. It's the biceps femoris short head, and we've drawn it before. And remember, it attaches right here to the tip of the fibula, comes around this part, and this is what gives you, and it comes up here and attaches to the femur. And this is what partly gives you that look from the end, especially from the front, where you have these two muscles coming around your kneecap. So you have your kneecap, and then you have the two muscles coming around your kneecap, and then, you know, muscles come off like that. That's what gives it that look. Like I said, we've already learned this muscle before, but I just want to show you that it will be slightly visible from this angle on the back. It's going to be covered though. All right, now we're going to get into the two main muscles. Right, now these muscles aren't so important to memorize. I mean, well, actually the bottom parts are. These two right here, mainly this bottom part, to learn that curve is important. Let's go ahead and draw it over here as well. So again, it's going to be attaching. Comes kind of down the center part here. It connects close to this bone here, where it touches the bone, not connects, sorry. Then it's going to come down like that and wrap around, connecting to the tibia there. Okay, so I'm just going to draw this fast because this muscle isn't all that important. Alright, then we'll do that bicep head again, over here. You're only going to see part of this muscle anyway from this back view. All right, now we'll get into the two main muscles that make the split in the back of your leg. If you see like a bodybuilder or anyone that has decent muscles in the back of their leg and low fat, and they flex it, you'll see like this kind of line in the center of the leg. We're going to see the two muscles that cause that to happen. All right, so we'll start with the harder one to pronounce, which is the semitendinosus. Woo, that's a mouthful, isn't it? All right, so it attaches up here to the pelvic bone. Sorry, I'm just kind of, hold on a second. Yeah, okay, so it attaches right about here. I'm using the wrong color, like so. And the other attach point is actually going to go down. It's going to run across this bone, and then it's going to go all the way around to the front of the tibia. So we're just going to draw where it kind of comes around like this. So it goes underneath this muscle at first, then it comes around and comes above the muscle. Right? And this is what, again, this is what's going to cause this line right here, and it goes right like this. So remember, like the femur bone goes at an angle. This comes to the center here and goes straight up. So imagine the center line here, and that's pretty much where it goes straight up. The center of this part of the bone. Imagine a line going straight up, and that's pretty much where this muscle goes up. Then it kind of curves in like that. Remember, it's going over the other muscle at this point. And actually, you know what? I should draw this as a mid muscle. Well, even though it's kind of an outer muscle. Yeah, I'll draw it as an outer muscle rather. Okay, so here we go. Let's draw it again. So it comes in, comes almost straight down like this, and it curves in like that. That's the general shape of that muscle. The fibers go in a logical way, the long way that you would expect them to. Let's add some tendon color. You can't really see the tendon there as it goes around, but I'm going to kind of separate these two muscles here with black. Kind of show that separation. There we go. Now while we're at it, instead of drawing it over there first, I'm going to draw the second muscle that's next to it. And that's called the biceps femoris. So it's going to attach down here to the fibula. It's going to kind of run up along the edge here, kind of covering part of that other muscle there. Then it's going to attach pretty much, well, not attach here, but it's going to kind of run close and mesh with that muscle. It's going to kind of come outside of that femur bone a little bit. And then it's going to come up. Its attachment points will be a little bit above this one and right on top of this one. So it's going to be like right there. And it comes down thin, and then it kind of thickens out as it gets right here. So it kind of makes a bicep in the back of the leg, which is very similar to the bicep on your arm. This being like the underside of your leg, and then underside of your arm. And so the front is more like the tricep of your leg, right? The front of your leg is like the tricep of your leg, and the back of your leg is like the bicep of your arm, if you wanted to compare it. So you have this similar, because like how your bicep has that muscle that kind of splits, which is why it's called the bicep. So you have a similar thing happening back here in the back of the leg. The fibers go as you expect them to, the long way. Go ahead and draw the tendon here. I'm going to just kind of separate these muscles with black, where you can kind of see their distinctive shapes there. Draw a few highlight lines. Tendon area. Right, there you have it. So that's what causes that line right there in the back of the leg. We'll see when we add the skin what I mean. Okay, I think I forgot to draw the gracilis over here on this leg, so it should come down like this, and it should be kind of thicker. And I don't know if it's clear here that the gracilis is like not this muscle, it's separate. Hopefully it's kind of separate enough. I might have to separate it with black. And it comes down there and disappears. So let's go ahead and get the black and kind of separate that muscle out a little bit. And kind of separate that muscle out a little bit like that. And then again, you're going to have that little bit of the other muscle you can see. And we'll just kind of separate these muscles like so. So those two muscles might take you a while to get down, so go ahead and take your time with it to draw the muscles that we've gone through here. Draw it from reference several times and from memory. The main two muscles you're really trying to memorize are these two muscles here, the bicep ones, the ones that make up your bicep in the back there. After you have that kind of memorized, you definitely still want to know you have the gracilis here. That's an important muscle that you can see part of that under muscle coming out here. This is important, and that little bit of muscle there. So knowing those muscles in the back are important. Just memorize, and also we'll have a kind of a map design of kind of the outer muscle system, and we'll kind of learn that, and that really helps drawing muscles on the figure with skin and stuff. But knowing where they connect is going to help you draw it logically from pretty much any point of view and from any type of position. Right, so let's go ahead and draw these other muscles now. So remember, you have the two muscles. We'll just go ahead and draw both of the same muscles as you over there, and we'll draw them over here now. Remember, you have this kind of center point that comes up right about here in the center, and so we can just kind of draw that line right now. And we know one comes around this way, comes underneath, right? So it first goes underneath that muscle. I might as well draw this on the outer muscle, so I meant to draw it on anyway. Goes underneath, and hold on, let me go and back up all the way. That way when you view the layers in Photoshop, it looks right. Right, so you have that center muscle, and it's splitting off, and it's going behind that muscle. Like so, and then we can't see where it goes. And then it's going to come in and it's going to attach a little bit on the inner part here, like so. Has kind of a thickness to it, not too thick though, like so. Goes over the muscle, so it goes over it and then under it. Let's go ahead and draw the lines for it. I'm going to render it out on pause, but I'm just going to draw the main fiber lines so we know the direction it's all going. Like that. Let's go ahead and draw the other muscle too really quick. Actually, I'll go ahead and render this out. Right, so remember then, when we want to draw the other bicep muscle, right, when we want to draw the biceps femoris, you just kind of draw a straight line here that kind of connects these muscles together. And actually, this should come all the way up more like that. I'll just go ahead and redo that. Oops, should be a black line. Kind of showing it like that. So it comes all the way up like this. Remember, it attaches just above the other muscle here. And it kind of comes like that, just leaving a little bit of a gap, and it kind of comes out, has a thickness to it, to the outer part of the bone there. Then it comes down a little bit in front of this muscle here. Sometimes if this muscle is big enough, you won't even see that other muscle in the front, and attaches here to the fibula. All right, I'll go ahead and render it out real quick. All right, and finally, to round out the shape of the back of the leg, we'll be able to see the vestus lateralis here on the outer part of the leg, and then very thinly the tensor fascia latea, or maybe it said tensor fasciolati. Anyway, so, and then of course the gluteus maximus, or the butt. Right. So first, let's go ahead and draw the latea, and it's mostly being covered, but we'll be able to see a little bit of it as it pops out here, like so. Remember, this one where it connects is important. So remember, it connects to the top part of this here. It has like a little flap of tendon coming down like that, and it's going to kind of come like this. That's what we're going to be able to see from the side view of this muscle. Also remember the direction of the fibers. The direction of the fibers is important here, and they kind of come down at an angle like this. So they don't run the long way like you would anticipate them to, but they run horizontally across it like this. Okay, so that's the basic shape of the muscle there. Add a few little highlights, and then find the shape of the tendon. That's all going to be covered up anyway, but just wanted to kind of show that there. Next, we'll go ahead and draw the gluteus maximus on this side. It's quite a large muscle, and believe it or not, this is one of the most important muscles to build up if you want to be a hard puncher. For those of you that, if you look at a lot of the hardest punchers in history of boxing, they have large glutes. So this big gluteus maximus, we know it goes down there, it connects to the femur like we showed before, and this is where you can see where it's connecting all the way to the back inside ridge here of the pelvic bone. Then you'll see a little bit of the under muscle right there. Just a little bit of that under one that we can kind of see from the side view if you remember. And it kind of comes down like this. That's the basic shape of the gluteus maximus. So now you know all the connecting points of the gluteus maximus that you learned from the side view and now from the back view. So that whole round part of the pelvis, or the pelvic bone, and then or the hip if you want to call it that, and then the part of the femur bone. Remember the direction of the lines. Kind of start outward and come up like this. Right? So it kind of like spreads out almost like a shower or something, like a spray. And they kind of come like this to show the form of the muscle there. Okay, if we want to, we can show a little bit of the tendon. I'm just going to use this brush here to show the tendon all around here. And I'll just kind of a few highlight lines. Now I think I'm going to use black to really show the separation between these muscles here. Right, there we have it. So before moving on to this leg, go ahead and do this a few times from reference, a few times from memory. Make sure you have a good grasp on how this muscle looks here before moving on. And when you have a good idea of how this looks, and I might have made this, glutes a little bit longer than they might normally be. They're probably going to, let's see here, actually, it's not that they're too long, I don't think. What I need to do is round it out just a little bit more. So let's go ahead and this should kind of come. There's some other muscles that are going to be in here. The muscles are for your sphincter, basically your where you crap out of. I was going to say another word, but I decided that's probably inappropriate. So I would tell your butthole. I'll just say it. For those that didn't know what the sphincter was. Right, so it probably comes out a little bit more like that. Still, I might have made it a little bit too far down. It's maybe right about here is what the point might have been, but it's really not going to make much difference. Everyone's a little bit different, so some people have a little bit longer glutes than others, but the placement's right, and so as long as you got that down, it's good. And so you just know you can adjust these muscles a little bit, where you can bring the glutes down just a little bit more like that, and then bring these muscles up a little bit higher, and it's just a slight change and gives you a little bit different look. All right, so let's draw the tensor fasciae latae here, which remember from the side view, it comes up and connects up here. Now we're only going to be able to see a part of this muscle though. Very, very tiny bit of it as it kind of connects up there. That shouldn't be that thick, it should be very thin. And it's going to follow the contour of the buttocks. It's just going to come out a little bit right here. It kind of follows the contour of the leg. That dips in a little bit right there. And this is where, remember, it attaches all the way down here to the tip of the fibula, so then you can just come right out like that. And that's where you see the thin part of the tendon right there. That's all tendon material. Stretching up like that. Right, and that's all you see of it. So it adds that, you can see that shape of the leg now, right there, bam, because the leg doesn't dip in like that right there. Then what you'll do, well, actually, I drew that a little bit wrong. This should kind of come in more right about here because it attaches more to the front there, and then this comes around. So yeah, you do have that slight little bump right here as it comes back out around the knee there. So it kind of comes dip there, a slight dip there as this comes down. Then you have your back calf muscles, which we'll get into later. All right, so that covers that whole left side there. And now you need to go ahead and draw the few times from reference, a few times from memory, get it down pretty well, and then we'll go ahead and draw the right side. Right, so basically all we have to add now is the glutes, this side, the lattice or whatever it was called, the lateralis, the vastus lateralis. So let's go ahead and just draw let's draw the glutes in there first, because make sure they're even on both sides, even though this isn't really how far the glutes would normally come down. Right, I'm going to go ahead and color that in. Right, we're just going to not come out so far over here actually. And I think this one, yeah, let's go ahead and I'm going to come in a little bit further actually. I don't want to come out that far. I was going to make the butt wider, but the butt muscles, but that's more for fat, so we'll go ahead and go like that. Then I'll outline it with black to show the separation of the muscles here. And notice I add this little dip right here in the muscle. Sometimes you can see that dip in people, and if it was on this side, you would be able to see that dip right there a little bit. But then the latissimus fascia or fasci or whatever, Fascia lati, whatever that damn thing's called. It's going to come around here on the side. It's going to kind of follow. And then we'll have the other muscle here. This is the vastus lateralis. That's a front muscle, but we're able to, it's kind of more of a side muscle than a front muscle, but you see it more from the front, I think, than you do from the back. Just a little bit, not much. It's like I said, it's mainly a side muscle, so that's outer side muscle that you see. Remember, it goes like this. Alright, and then I'll go ahead and draw this tendon coming all the way up like that. Right, so there you have it. Now we have covered the back muscles. I made that right buttock a little bit bigger, like wider. I made it come out a little bit more too, so I could, go and fix all that if I wanted to, but I don't think it's that important to fix. So he has two different size muscles, but just barely. They're pretty much the same size. Okay, let's go ahead and make this one have a little bit black. Right, so there you have it. Right, then all we're going to have to do is we'll be able to see some of the inside of the muscles from this angle here. We'll draw this leg first because this might overlap it a little bit, but we'll be able to see some of the inside muscles and some of the inside muscles over here as well if we end up doing both those. I don't think both of these views are necessary, so yeah. But nonetheless, yeah, we'll definitely cover the inside of the muscles. We'll be able to see these muscles a little bit different. The gracilis and this muscle here, I forget what that one's called now. So the gracilis and the sartorius, or sartorius. So we'll be drawing this muscle here, and then that gracilis that comes back there, and you can also see it back here more. And so we'll be drawing that on the inside and showing how the inside of the leg looks. And yeah, then we'll have a good complete 360 view of the leg. We'll have the outer side of the leg here done. We'll have the inside of the leg done here, and then the back and the front. And that will give us a good three-dimensional view of the leg muscles. Again, when we draw the skin and fat tissue onto the body, we'll be able to see more, and we'll see where fat buildup happens and how to make different kinds of fat people as fat buildup in different people differently. So we'll show the most popular places and the different types of body shapes you can get from how the fat builds up and where those fat pockets are and how they build up. And yeah, so that's just part of the, basically that's part of the skin because it's on top of the muscle, right? So yeah, I think that covers the legs for now. We'll go ahead and I think do, man, I'd rather just do it in this one here, but I'm already pushing the hour mark and it's going to take a little while to do the, the inside here of the muscle. And then I want to do the three force view of the outside of the muscle too. So that's going to take a little bit of time, and so I'll save that for another lesson. And then in that other lesson, we'll probably go ahead and add some more muscles too, like maybe start adding the back of the calf view or something like that.